Hey guys, this is a little bit of a different stream. We're going to go over our last few defeats. Our first one is on Dry Arabia against Lord Dimdim. It says here's a Plat 3. When we played, he was a he was a Diamond 3. So he must have lost quite a few games. Interesting match where we're just going to go through really quickly, try to find our mistakes here. We've had, I feel, some games that were in part because of our bad play and in part, 100% because of our bad play, but just to review and see kind of where our mistakes were made. So we'll zoom past the opening. We're gonna go for kind of a Keshik play here, like we usually do. Yeah, he's scouting, and I've been playing around with going with Keshik Mongol. This is against the Abbasid, and so they're almost always gonna go for spears. So definitely something to keep in mind. Here we see we saw him aging up here, and I wasn't sure if this was the military wing or not. And it is the military wing, so that's something to always keep in mind. This forward slight curve rectangle means that a military wing is going up. So that's something that I wasn't like 100% sure if it's going to be the military wing, and I didn't like fully respect it, which is kind of a mistake on my part, because it does come out with two spearmen, two archers, and like you can win it with your Keshik, but you have to have some pretty good micro. You can't mess up your micro. That first initial contact with your Keshik has to go correctly. So that it definitely can be done, but just a little bit it can be a mistake. One thing here we notice on his timing scouting our base, he sees our landmark, but he sees our stable at the same time, so it just kind of secures him to go for barracks here. That's one thing also that I kind of like about doing the Mangadai opening is after you age up, you start dropping your archery range, so they don't get to see the stable. Your timing is a little bit delayed. One thing as well here, if we look at our scouting range, our Khan went down here, scouted around his base, and then headed straight back up here. And we never scouted this corner. And what's in this corner is his villager took a long route all the way across here, and yeah, his villager took a long route all the way across. He's going to garrison up or wall up our trade here. So something that we don't end up picking up. We also have some idle time here. With our Khan, we kind of mess up here. And something that we didn't do is scout this corner over here again. So we're coming back up, getting a little bit eager with the scouting over here. But again, so this is why it's important to finish scouting things out, because you'll catch just weird little plays like this, especially if you're trading. So again, a little bit of mistakes that start adding up. Up here, we're gonna get enough wood here to drop our next building, military building. And you see he's already getting his tower up. And so if we had gone double Mangadai, I don't know if we deny this tower. But definitely with double Keshik here, if we play this a little bit cleaner, I feel like we could have done a little bit better job denying. So Khan's here accompanying. He puts his villagers, and we could have just right-clicked the spearmen behind it. And instead we right-clicked onto his archers, and we right-clicked, and we just ran away. We just took this damage for nothing, and we know this tower's coming up, so it's a really important blade that we deny this. And we lose our comm for nothing. We're losing that guy for nothing. We have a scout coming over here, not finishing scouting over here. So all these things add up, and he's walling our trade. So unfortunate, and not a good opening by us at all. I'm going to open up. You see my Keshiks aren't doing anything. They're trading into spearmen now when it doesn't really matter, so we're losing that HP for nothing. And now we got Keshiks over here, but the tower's already up. So we're just kind of like banging our head against the wall here because we didn't get a good timing with those 8s. Again, something that I think with opening with Mangadais kind of facilitates a little bit more. A little bit raid timings. It's definitely you don't do as much damage, but if he were trading out, he would lose a Mangadai and a Keshik. Not a good switch out right here. Over here, if we run into his guy, we have idle traders, and we realize, oh shoot, he's just walled our trade. So we're bringing back our army, and we've got to go burn down this wall. At the same time, we have traders getting produced, but yeah, it's not like we're getting a lot of research here. He's getting boot camp, so he's getting stronger military units. And if we look at our spread here, this is one thing that I think he does really good. He realizes that we're going trade. He's gone 1 TC. He's going all in on TC. And now that he's going all in on TC, we had first off we lost a scout. I think we lost 2 scouts. So if we had stayed scouting and kept better control of that, we would have been in a better spot. If we had our 4 more Keshiks here, we would have been in a better spot. And if we had, we went up to we've got 4 production buildings, but we got 17 villagers on wood. This is like a 2 TC play, infrastructure play. So really, these villagers need to be pulled and going on to food a while ago. Also, I had a bunch of villagers up here. We knew we didn't have the military mass. We had the wood. We should have dropped a second tower up here a window ago. So we lose all these villagers, 4 villagers that could have been in a tower doing a lot of damage. Each arrow, would have been cranking out damage. And we have our... also, we got a +1 arrow defense instead of our +1 arrow attack. That's kind of a mistake as well. We should almost always get the +1 arrow attack. Since we're supposed to be the ones being aggressive and pushing. So those little mistakes kind of compounded. Over here, my Mangudai mass doesn't accompany my Keshiks. This becomes important, as you guys are going to see, because we come up here. We're able to repair that from burning down. And we have enough army to turn back his army here. But look, if we had Mangudai here chewing this away, oh man, we had seven Mangudai. This army would be getting 2-shot. Each unit would be getting 2-shot basically. So yeah, really unfortunate. Just a bad judgment by us. And we're going up to a 2 TC play. This is super greedy. Going to 2C when he's basically going 1 TC all in. And he reads this right, and we read this really wrong. And this is just getting kind of sloppy with the macro play. It was kind of like the first match of the day. Lots of gold, plenty of gold. We should be buying some food right now to start producing units. But we're going up to tech and TC, so yeah, definitely another thing though. We're not producing units right now. We're just floating a ton of gold. So just little mistakes here and there which add up. Here we've got 6 traders each with 70, so that's what, 420 gold right there. And at this point too, something that could definitely be a possibility is investing in Castle Age. But we decided to get other things. I don't know, upgrades here and there. We're getting broad axe. Like we don't have enough villagers on wood here. Like there's just like weird decisions here. And going up to 2 TC, and like we can't even afford production in both of these TCs. That's how food starved we are. So again, yeah, not the best decisions here. We're finally getting our +1 arrow attack. And this is also a point when we had pushed forward that we could have been going aggro. Sure, we probably can't. And actually, he does a really good job with his base here. He plays it super safe. In terms of getting raids in, we probably really couldn't. It was all about getting an army to be able to fight him. And you see, he's just investing in getting an army. He's got 1,000 food at this point. And we've got 14. And 2 villagers on food, as villagers are trying to rotate onto food. So, again, really big mistakes. And this big idle time in food is basically what causes our loss. Is just a big mistakes in terms of macro play. We're going up to here. We're getting wood. We're getting towers, and towers are great and all until basically 36 units come here and they just burn it down. Undefended, unupgraded towers aren't going to do anything. They get shut down. I got to reposition my market here. We reduce our trade. Instead of 70 per trip, we're getting 30 per trip. So less than half. And we got this army here chilling, and he gets the age up. And now our food eco is starting to get kind of stabilized, and we're investing in food and we're producing units, but we're a whole age behind. And he kind of falls back here. He's going to get rams. And we try to raid around the side here. He's getting walls. He builds up another set of walls behind this, so when we do eventually burn through, it's not going to matter. And he's got this big army, and we're kind of worried about it, so we're building a bunch of infrastructure behind here so we can kind of deal with it. And so, in some sense, like our macro is in a really good spot, and we can deal with this now that we've properly established ourselves. But like the amount of losses we've lost in terms of villager production set us back a little bit, and this late transition is also really painful. We get our veteran Keshiks and veteran Mangudai, and then this is a really big deal. So if you're taking a fight in Castle, he's been Castle, he's got Castle Age units. We got Kurultai. We've got a Siege Workshop coming up for Mangonels. What's going to happen here? He's going to burn down some buildings here. I can always pull my trade over. We're not really hurting for gold too bad. We got a bunch of traders that are going to turn in here, so we're going to be sitting in a good amount of gold. So what? We got Siege Workshop, we got this army, we got our upgrades coming in. We canceled our veteran Mangadai upgrade. Okay, that's something, and that's something that really hurts because we got our veteran Keshik upgrade, and we took this fight without taking our veteran Mangadai. So once I realized this, I should have fallen back. I just stayed and tried to rely on my defense arrow. It's definitely not good enough. You know, a siege tower here, an outpost here, we get raided on the other side as well. So just taking a really bad fight. You can see the destroyed value is just a huge difference. Our better army value in terms of cost gets absolutely wrecked. And we pull villagers to burn rams. But again, if we look at the time here, these rams in this same amount of time have demoed these buildings and these couple of towers. If our army was just sitting back here, resisting as much as they could, we would be in an okay spot. We could have sacrificed all those builds that we just did, and we still have enough in the Eco League. But we could have had this army with veteran Mangadai, with reinforcements, and a Mangonel. And that would be a totally different game right now. So he reads it right, he does a good timing push, and we do a really bad job throwing the fight here. So that's pretty much the story of this game. Like, our Eco, I guess we're booming, and we're like in a decent spot. But he's got a huge army. We got to catch up a huge amount in army, even though we got a lead in Eco. And then there's another fight where we lose our Mangonel. If we keep that Mangonel alive, we got a better chance of holding this fight. But we don't. We don't keep it alive. We lose our army. We lose our Mangonel, and yeah. So a little bit of mistakes there. That early micro, that early aggro early, that early aggro and micro early with the Keshik against the military wing. It's winnable, but you have to be on point. You have to do it right. You can't get speared by that first spearman. He can't brace against your Keshik, and you can win that fight. But yeah, again, you have to play it right. You have to micro it right. So yeah, and then this match we played against 10-4 Tim. He's on a Discord on Rising Empires. He's a pretty good player. I've played him a couple times. He's always beaten me, but yeah. Again, this is another match where I feel like we kind of said fuck it in terms of like denying the Rus bounty, and we were just gonna go for our Keshik trade and see how it goes. Just kind of figure it out. Rus is really strong with their food and their bounty, so we probably could have denied a little bit better here, and we didn't. So yeah, we're just gonna see for our Keshik trade in Rush and try to see what we can do. Again, a big thing here is the Rus usually get that Kremlin drop, and then it's just hard to be able to do much against that. See, we're scouting around the map. We get okay sheep. I think we get like 10 or 12 sheep. Yeah, so we actually have a pretty good amount of sheep here. Yeah, we got 4, 8, so we get like 9 sheep basically. So he ages up, we age up. If you look at his vision, and this is why in part I like coming in with the Mangadai. Because they don't see the stables as early, so they're not dropping this barracks as quickly. But again, here's the big thing: he's going for second TC. We've seen this play, so we're sending our units over here to go deal with his stone. Again, it's going to be all about micro. We're dropping our silvertree. One thing is against the Roost, they always have a scout, so they're always going to be able to see what you're producing in terms of military. So you're not really going to get the jump on it. So again, we should have, I don't know. At this point, we had 11 on food, and I felt like better with 11 on food. But if you look at this charge, they charge into the spearman. One of them gets braced against. This other guy's not doing any damage, and this guy's just getting wrecked. So very quickly, this fight has turned something from its winnable and deniable stone. We lose a scout for nothing to just we lose that and we can't contest. And we have a couple Keshik over here to deny this deer drop. And it kind of sucks because we happen to pull on the other side when he's ready to pull over here. So, again, really unfortunate. We're getting our archery range out. It's, again, one of those times where I feel like if you go double Mangadai opening, you know, whatever your opponent does in terms of horsemen or losing a Keshik again. We lost 2 Keshiks now. And he's going to drop a second TC. But if you go Mangadai, I feel like it's a little bit better in some sense, but you have to really get that second stable out as soon as you can. So we'll just speed this up real quick, and you guys will see we're trying to find where he's dropping the second TC. We knew it was going over here, but we're just kind of like messing around with like Keshiks here. I don't know, just kind of bad moves. We're over here kind of harassing. He doesn't even have a spearman here anymore because timing-wise he thinks he's fine, which he is. And we have these Keshiks here, and we're trying to chase down the scout. And we had a Keshik over here to deny this deer patch, and we have a Manganize over here idle. And yeah, he's going to rotate onto this deer patch, drop a wooden fortress. We are going to scout this, but he can scout us as well because of the range of the Kremlin. Gets all of its bonuses, it gets tons of vision. So now he's on 1 deer patch, 2 deer patch. He's got all of his bounty that he wants, and he's rotating onto here. So, and this is something where if I had... His army isn't over here. We had our army over here. We could be denying this deer, this food production on these 8 villagers a minute ago. It was, I think, 5 initially or 6, and he's made a couple since then. So, you know, we would have been able to deny that and, you know, at least slow it down. And then we could have been able to rotate over with the new Mangadai. The new Mangadai could have been rallying over here instead of rallying over here. So it's just little things where, like, this early aggression that we're investing in, we've invested pretty heavily in this, and he's invested into 2 TCs and a wooden fortress on deer. So if he like survives this, he's in a much better spot in terms of eat. Even though we're trading and we're booming in trade, food is actually the lifeblood of like everything. And so if we have extra gold, we're gonna have to trade it out. Militia units show up, we're gonna have to fall back. Wooden fortress got the half health. So again, basically wasted there. We lost units for basically nothing. He's got 1,000 resources almost in destroyed value, and we haven't. I mean, we're ahead in points wise, but again, not ideal here. So we're ahead in eco, but he's got 2 TCs, and that's kind of the thing here. If you've got 2 TC, honestly, your eco is growing in a balanced manner, while your opponent's trade is just floating a ton of gold. So we got trade resources. We're gonna try to spend resources here to balance ourselves out. And if we see here, he pushes us with this army. Army value wise, you can see we have the same invested in army. Our eco is about the same. But this is 8 archers, 9 spearmen. So again, his archer mass is a little bit better than ours, and that's kind of one of these things where, like, if we try to take these fights here, we got to make sure we have a really good archer mass. Keshiks are good, but they really need the Mangadai support to be able to deal with like these spearman masses, because the spearmen just do so much damage. It's crazy. In terms of like counter units, he's rotating onto gold here. He's also got a deer or a boar patch nearby. Yeah, he's on the board already. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on the board there. So little details here. Again, we're taking the fight here. Not the best of micro here. Once our Mangadai also just getting engaged here, really bad. So that's kind of a mistake on our part, letting our Mangadai take so much damage. We could have been microing our Mangadai and letting our Keshik frontline, and instead what happens is our Keshik kind of pseudo frontline. He brings in reinforcements. He tries to drop a wall on our trade, and we're just trying to micro here, do our best here. But again, you can see the army value. Like, we're winning because of defender's advantage, but he's actually got a better army in terms of value. He's massing more units. His food eco is in a great spot, and he's on double deer. He's on boar, and we've cleaned up, I think, 1 deer patch. Yeah, and we're gonna transition to another one, but he's cleaned up boar. We haven't. So these little things definitely add up. He also killed our boar, so that's some free 50 wood for him. We're able to kill this villager before he fully walls us here, which is nice. But you can see this army here. We're not in a great spot. 5 Mangadai, 2 Keshiks, and you can see that this army comp is like a better comp, because the Keshik can frontline, and they have enough support to actually to not be absolutely wrecked. He's got some idle going here, but eco-wise, he's pulled ahead. He's been able to hit our trade line. Traders are up to 18, so we're not exactly where I'd like to be. We are dropping more markets here to try to kind of boom our way into this and just float gold and trade it out. And again, it's an okay thing, but it's not ideal. And so we can see that we haven't started buying any resources, and we're floating a ton of gold here. So this is one of those things where you gotta start investing in that. Military infrastructure, we got 3 stables, 2 ranges. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more buildings coming up, but he's got 3 ranges, a barracks, 5 ranges, 2 stables. 6 ranges. Okay, so yeah, just infrastructure wise, he can re-up so much faster than us right now. And this is all in to stop our trade basically. And so I think it's a good thing that we didn't go for 2TC. It would have been a much faster match. I think we would have been stomped a lot faster. Um, but here we are investing in infrastructure. But our food eco, we're sitting at 22 villages on food, but they're all on basically, some villages over here, 9 villages on deer, but he's finishing up his deer. He's finished up his boar. He's still got villages on boar. He's still got that boar to finish up. But he's got his food collection, so I guess he's gonna have to rotate onto farms here shortly. So I guess there's a small window of opening here for us to attack, and this is kind of where we are attacking here because he let off the pressure. We're trying to stabilize our trade. 25 traders, not the best. Got a garrison of villages here. Be nice to have a couple more towers here. You can see we have 15, 20 villagers that can't garrison. Tower does kind of a joke amount of damage here. They got 4 armor. So, yeah. He's on to berries. And he's just going onto the map, collecting as many resources. His army again. Army value is way ahead of us. So, that's kind of the downside of having to trade. It's macro intensive. You have to be careful as well as like trading because you're floating a ton of resources. And that's... We've been buying food for gold now. So, our resources, though we have more gold, we're spending it inefficiently. And that leads to kind of a net less income gain. So you don't want to be trading your gold for resources if you have to till late game. And this is definitely not late game. This is like mid game at the most. So yeah, infrastructure, 3 stables, 2 ranges, and our opponent's on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 infrastructure? 1, 2... I can't believe that. Maybe I'm counting wrong. I'll click these up real quick. 6, 4, 14 infrastructure. Yeah, 14 to 5. So, again, we've always kind of mentioned that it's really important to have a good amount of infrastructure because our army comp is such a slow army production comp. And so he pushes it in here hard. Mostly spearmen, couple of knights mixed in, only 4 knights, but 4 knights is a pretty good amount. And we have 1 tower, 2 towers. They're not going to do much. We garrison these units. We really should have microed this tower to shoot spearmen here. And we're bringing our army over, but if you look at army value, again, he's actually got a better army. I mean, some of it is defender's advantage, so it's not, his full force isn't here. But, we don't have a great spot here to really do a ton of damage on him, so... we're going to try to trade out here. We have, units flooded in here. And we got a bunch of traders, but our traders, again, we're still kind of stagnating around 20-ish traders. So it's not like our trade is super out of control. You can see his eco is just out of this world. He's huge. He's got 83 villagers, so he's got a nice spread of eco. Versus we just getting tons of gold. And our food is like just suffering. We got 15 villagers on food. And we're just in a really bad spot here, so... yeah, these towers that we're, we built a ton of towers that's kind of helping here deal with this, but we're losing a ton of traders, and yeah, destroyed value. There's a difference of 6,000 resources there, so really bad. At this point, I'd say it's actually GG because once you've stagnated the trade enough, and you are on 2 TCs behind this, you're actually way ahead in terms of eco. You can see his eco's pulled ahead. He can just keep sending armies in, and we're trying to stabilize here. But we're going to tap up our curl tie, try to drop some more infrastructure, but again, it's all a little bit too little too late. I think in retrospect, getting this micro done properly on the second TC, fighting the spearmen properly, bringing in the reinforcements properly would have been in a better spot. And yeah, we're in castle before him, so we're able to bring this curl tie over, and that kind of helps us. Especially with the veteran Keshik, and we're able to kind of stabilize in some sense, but we're down to 2 traders. So our gold production is like, we're down to basically nothing. Where's it at? Yeah, 100 a minute. No gold production. He's just massing a unit. He's going high trade house. He's floating already enough for imp, basically. And army size is about the same. We got a better army, but he's got 50 villagers on food. 12 villagers on gold, besides 100 cabin income. Look, income plan, he's at 700 gold a minute, and we're just starting to get those stabilized. Well, he's been there going up to 800, 700, 800. So, again, not in a great spot. We're burning down these walls just so he can't easily wall or whatever. We didn't want to raid because we were in a really bad spot to raid if we tried raiding. Eco-wise, you can see he's got huge numbers on us, 30 plus eco on us. And we're trying to stabilize here in terms of our traders and stuff. We're back up to 25. But he just pushes our base, and we can't really take this fight. You know, most of our value is actually in the horsemen here. And we got a lot of Mangadite, but it's not like a huge amount. There's 12 of them. That's not... You need like 20 of them to really be doing good damage against like a group of any army, basically. We lost track of these knights here, unfortunately. So he's able to get a few raids in. We try to get this other army in to start raiding on him. His gold was suffering, so we tried to raid there. It hits the front of our base. We get one villager kill there versus him getting who knows how many. He's got 90 plus villager deaths here, so at this point it was just over. I don't know what takes me so long to tap out, but we trade out this army, I think, and we tap out now, so yeah, it's just over at this point. Not much we can do. Traders is the only thing we do have, 27, but again, you got gold, no food. It's a really tough spot, so I think that early micro was really important for denying that second PC, that early denial of that food. If you're going to give up bounty like that, you have to be able to deny the food play. So that's really important. This last match is against this Chinese name. He's a Conk 3 player. He had like 1700 elo, and we were, we've been trying out, the Keshik build and blah, blah, and we just felt like it was just the spear reaction and the micro we've been messing up. So we're gonna go with the Mangadai opening. We thought it was gonna be a little bit easier, and we get really unlucky with our opening here because we're scouting over here, and he scouts right in front of us. He gets to scout right in front of us because we go a little bit too deep. We don't run into each other. We missed these 2 sheep off a rip, and he's just picking up. Like those first 2, I could say were on his side, but these 4 sheep were definitely ours, and we actually get our food eco really messed up because of this. It really kind of messes up our timing on our build order and changes quite a few things early on, so not a really good start for us, really bad start. Here comes our Khan, no sheep. So that's really bad. And we run right in front of these 2 sheep and to go up onto the other side of the base. And so we were rotating villagers onto deer, and we missed these couple of sheets at the front. Again, really, really unfortunate. Not a good start at all. He has a great start. He has a good amount of sheep. He's bringing 8 sheep on his first run, 9 sheep on his first run. So just off rip, he picked up 4 of our sheep there. And that 9 sheep start should have been at most a 5 sheep start. 5 sheep start. And honestly, a couple of those, it should have only been like a 2 or 3 sheep start. Over here, we lose a lot of idle time trying to drop a tower. If you get aggroed by these Ottoman spears, just kill him with your villagers when he tries to dive you. Here we have a little bit of sloppy micro. Make sure you don't have that happen. You have to stay attentive, attack, don't get baited chasing, and don't build a tower. It's not worth it with those early Ottoman, the early Ottoman play. Here we're going into Mangadai. We're gonna try to push here. He's coming over with his scout. He's rotating into a stable because he sees our range. He expects archers. I don't think he expected the Mangadai play by us. Over here we have Mangadai chasing this, and we decide, let's forget that Sapaki. If he pushes our base, we'll just build a couple of towers here. We need to get some damage in on our opponent as soon as possible. And so that's what we do here. We're going to raid here. We get a nice pick, which means we're equal in terms of eco damage, and we actually get a second pick here. Again, really nice. Behind this, he's bringing his Sapaki back. He knows he has to deal with this pressure. Idle archery range for us. Not good at all. Again, these little things are, these seconds add up a lot. And again, another villager death, but we dive way too deep. So losing 2 Mangadai here for 1 villager is never worth it. So that, because this damage early on the snowball is really big. It's really important. So we finally have our Mangadai in queue here. We're really late. We have our stable coming up. So little mistakes here in terms of our resources. That's why we're floating so much resources, because we're so micro intensive. We forgot to queue up more villagers. Just macro mistakes. And again, losing that Mangadai there was really bad. Um, we lost one, but the second one took a lot of damage, and we should be up to a bigger mass of Mangadai at this point as well. Over here, we probably could have rotated around. If we look at Fog of War, you can see us moving up and over. So he's going to try to make a play there, but we should have moved around over here to the front side, to this wood line. We could have also probably split, but when you have the small mass, it's kind of hard to split. We have a Keshiks on the way, and again, we're rallying Keshiks to our trade because we're scared. We're scared that he was going to raid us, so we're rallying our Keshiks over here to the trade line, which is not ideal in any sense. He's just making a ton of Sapaki at this point, which is going to crank out quickly, and we're sending this Keshik over to the south. And if this Keshik was heading over to the north, he'd be up here by the 950 mark. So we'll keep that in mind when you guys start watching this, how this fight kind of breaks down. Over here we have a couple of Mangadai. We should have brought it here a little bit closer, gotten some aggro in. We definitely could have. It's not end of the world just to come over here. 950, here we are, 53, 54, 55. So your Keshik's arrived here. He would be arriving here. Keshik would be here. If we have one Keshik here, this fight becomes a very different animal in terms of just what we can do with the front line there. We lose this one, 2 Mangadai here for basically nothing, going super greedy here on this, trying to deny this wall here. And when we could have been just skirmishing, just slow playing slow playing it. And overall, we could have had probably 1 or 2 more Mangadai here. We could have had a Keshik here. So these little things are just, they're cumulative and they snowball. We're ahead in terms of eco. We're way ahead, but our army value, it's ahead now, but it's not, because Mangadai, I mean, they're good, but they're not that good in feudal. If they get beat up by horsemen really bad, especially with the meta giving the speed, not the speed boost, the ranged armor boost. You can see they take a lot less damage. Instead of giving 6 damage, we're doing 2 damage per shot, which is huge. Which is really huge. And that's why, like, mixing Keshikin is really important, and you can see that we're finally mixing Keshikin, but we got Keshik way down here. We got Keshik rallying to the south instead of being, if we'd been more aggressive and brought these Keshiks up to the north, we would have been in a much different sort of a match at this point. So, just little details, and sure, our eco's in this good spot, but we're losing units, a lot of units. We do a lot of bad micro. Trying to macro and micro at the same time, and we weren't playing at the top of our game. We were moving our silver tree to the back. We got plenty of gold. I just want to get as much gold out of the trade as possible. I feel like just moving the silver tree early on, just off rip, was probably a better move. He might have denied it, but I don't know. We're pulling villagers onto deer. We're getting more infrastructure going up, and he's I mean, he's sitting in a good spot in terms for Ottoman. And here we just, again, moving our army up, getting caught out. Mangadai not being able to do much damage. And we got Keshiks here, but he's got 16 Sapaki. 4 Keshiks will not beat 16 Sapaki. So we're in a really bad spot at this point. At this point, the match is basically over. It'd be up to him to basically throw it at this point. And we're just trying to mass up units and falling back. And we just have to be careful. And when you have to be careful as Mongols, when you're trying to trade, it just kind of leads to a loss. It's just basically what it is. He's kind of established his base now. He's in a good spot. And he's looking to castle now at this point, behind this big mass of units. And he's starting to mix in archers and spearmen. So it's going to get even harder to fight this mass here. And you see, we get a little, this is like the one, that's like the one time we're actually able to attack our opponent and get sneaky damage in. But you see how the Sapaki catch up, and they can just nuke 4 Mangadai because of the movement speed of Mangadai being so slow. So you really got to have a good mass of them to be able to do some damage while they chase you. Otherwise, it's not enough of a deterrent. See, with 3 Mangadai, we almost picked one off. That was already like an 8th health. And so that's the thing. You have to have like a mass of 10 and growing to really deter someone. And when we had that mass over here, we were doing okay. We were holding, but the second we got cowed out trying to stop that wall, that was kind of a bait there with that villager, and we kind of bit it. We put it in a really bad spot. So here we are trying to fight this, and yeah, it's just this army absolutely crushes us, and we just tap out because it wasn't worth it. So little things with the detail and early on. I mean, besides Mangonite not being a really good unit, archers are definitely a stronger unit. But in that fight there, if we had, because we had, let's see, Hillandale. I mean, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. Like he's a very good player. Um, and that's why playing these kind of strats against good players, it's like you have to play even better. Um, but here is when we kill a couple of his villagers, and we lose right before this line. You see, we lose a Mangudai for a villager, and it's not worth it. You might think that that extra villager kill is worth it, but it's not. Just killing two villagers was enough. Killing the third one just to equalize eco is not worth it to lose that early Mangudai. That's all about the snowball mass. So the second you lose a couple Mangudai early against someone who's going to counter you with Sabaki, with those metas and the possible speed boost, because he didn't go the meta with the speed boost, but if he got the meta with the speed boost, oh man, our Mangudai would have no chance of running away. So you'd have to have a good mass to be chewing away constantly. Um, and some Keshik mixed in. So rallying this Keshik late, rallying the Mangudai up to fight, we did okay. But taking that fight poorly and not rallying this Keshik up to fight with us was a big deal. I think rotating into a double stables, more Keshik coming out was important. Even a double production Keshik there instead of double production Mangudai would have probably been a better option. So various things in that match that we could have changed. And played better. So just a little bit of a different video this time. Just three different matches, three losses, and just kind of ways that we could have played them a little better. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next one.